Good evening, I'm Lin Li Fu. Welcome to Asia Tonight. We begin with breaking news this hour out of Singapore. Minister Mentor Lee Kuan Yew and Senior Minister Goh Chok Tong have announced they're retiring from the cabinet. In a joint statement, Singapore's first and second Prime Ministers said after a watershed general election, they have decided to leave the cabinet and have a completely younger team of ministers to connect to and engage the younger generation in shaping the future of Singapore. Both men said they have studied the new political situation and thought how it can affect the future. They said that they have made their contributions to the development of Singapore, and the time has come for a younger generation to carry Singapore forward in a more difficult and complex situation. Mr. Lee and Mr. Goh also say Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong and his team of younger leaders should have a fresh, clean slate. A younger generation, besides having a non-corrupt and meritocratic government and a high standard of living, wants to be more engaged in the decisions which affect them. But Mr. Lee and Mr. Goh also say the younger team must always have in mind the interests of the older generation and that this generation who has contributed to Singapore must be well looked after. Minister Mentor has a term coined especially for Mr. Lee Kuan Yew in 2004, a description which reflects his role in office and a nod to his wealth of experience. For many, his contributions would perhaps be in how he has steered Singapore from what he called mud flats to the metropolis seen today. Mr. Lee's role in shaping modern Singapore started from pre-independence in the 50s till today. He took a tough stand on many policies, from land acquisition for development to opening the doors to foreign talents. And having seen for himself how racial tensions can break a society, Mr. Lee dedicated himself to building a cohesive nation. In 1988, the Parliamentary Elections Act was amended to introduce group representation constituencies, or GRCs. At least one minority candidate must be part of the team contesting a GRC, guaranteeing minority representation in Singapore's parliament. Leadership renewal has always been a key priority for Mr. Lee, who stepped down as Prime Minister in 1990. His decision to step down from the cabinet is perhaps a sign of the confidence in the country's leadership renewal process. Senior Minister Goh Chok Tong says he will now have more time to devote to his Marine Parade GRC. He said this in a post on his constituency Facebook page, Parada, after announcing his retirement from the cabinet. Mr. Goh said Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong can then refresh his cabinet to forge a new Singapore consensus by rethinking policies and reshaping Singapore with fresh ideas.